Oh, beautiful. Oh, she's such a sweet child. Such a sweet child. And yeah, there you go. That's the end. We beat Final Fantasy X. Yay! Oh, in a way, I'm sad that it's over, but at the same time, I'm really happy it's over. Oh, oh gosh. The one reason why I'm happy that it's over is that I get to start FF10 2 now. Because I want to try it out. On the mission, I guess they're like the girl with guns and short is Yuna, but it doesn't make sense, I don't know why. And the other one looks like Riku. And then there's the other one with gray hair? Not white hair, gray hair? I don't know what that is. I'm curious. But yeah, anyway, for the usual, I have thoughts and I'm talking in the credit scene moment. That's me. Hi. So, let me lower the sound a bit. Beautiful music, by the way. Final Fantasy X is a good game. Which, by the way, if you didn't know, the game is now 20 years old from like last Monday, I think it was. So happy birthday, Final Fantasy X. You're great still after 20 years. Final Fantasy X. I know I raged a lot at some point. I think it was at starting the Sanctuary Guardian. Seymour, the second fight where he zombifies you, and the Grand Cross one-shot move, and you have Fresca. Those three fights is when I started like develop some hate towards Final Fantasy X because of not how the game wasn't bad at that point. It's just the game had such a difficulty spike. Like the Guardian was mostly just I don't do damage. He's not doing damage. He just heal himself. That was just me not realizing like, oh, I should use like reflect on him so his thing will go back on me. Then again, when you look up guides about the game, which most of them are very old, by the way, they mostly talk about stuff that at that point I was barely. No wait, not even. They were like use this and this. I'm like, those are so many levels far away from me. Like using on the sphere grid, I was way too far from those. And I guess it makes sense. It was my first time playing. I knew nothing of the game. Maybe I didn't optimize my sphere grid by a lot. Maybe. After the NFSK, I attempted to work more on the sphere grid, pay more attention to it, and it did pay off. In the end, I was able to get like after the NFSK, when I realized like yes, thing was too hard, because I discussed with my FC Discord, right, and they were like, dude, you're so weak to be at this point of the game, and like, I don't know, because it's like this is not. I'm not saying the game is bad in a way. It's just that the game's old. It's fine. But if there's one thing I wish the game would be done different, is that the main story there's a lot. It's always just go forward and that's it. The story is just go forward. The story will continue. It's that simple. That's it. And there's bosses that like ends an area, which is like, well, if you want to continue the story, you have to beat the boss, and the boss can be quite tricky sometimes. Like after the calm plains, the other calm lands, whatever. There's this boss with it's a rock golem boss. And he does like insane physical damage, but like insane physical damage, and magic does like nothing to him. Or the opposite, he does disgusting damage, and he's a freaking tank. And the only damage I could do was by using Lulu magic. The whole game I used Lulu magic until the point where that wasn't good enough. Waka just became strong out of nowhere, doing 4k damage per hit, so I started using him. And yeah, like I for sure didn't optimize anything of the game. Like even the Dark Aeons, I had to use the Jimbo to clear the path on Bissett Island. There's the Omega Ruins I've yet to enter or do 2 fights without getting one shot in there. So yeah, there's just a lot to do in this game. This figure is insanely huge too. I barely scratched the surface of it, and I finished the game. Wait, I was going to say, yeah, what the game does for the story is that you go forward, which is not a bad thing, but the game never, like, wink hints at you that there's side quest or side stuff to do except the monster arena, which feels more like an end game thing to do. The game never hints at you like new stuff to do, or like you know, like for example the complaints. I nowhere never did they show the Chocobo trainer. Like I'm just a small example. Like instead you could have like have the Chocobo trainer and or have a character saying like, oh I'm training Chocobo, but I need to gather some. Maybe later I'll be able to gather some like from my Chocobo farm or something. So when you're done with the complaints, if you go back, like, oh man, the guy's at the Chocobo now and stuff like that. Like, I was never, I was never interested to do side quests because I never knew about side quests. That makes sense. I ignored that there was some I could do, and that's my shit really. That's my one complaint of the game. The game never let go of you in the story, like never lets you go so that you could. That's like go explore and do stuff. On how I saw it is that oh I just keep walking forward. I'm still just continue the game. You know, like natural progression. That's what's bothering me in this game. Hi Titus. Oh, don't break on my talking rant. It's not a rant. It's just a talk. My opinions. Wait, is he dead or alive now? I don't know. Oh, no, that just said Prophecy 10 HD Remaster. There we go. I'm gonna continue talking right now. So yeah. Oh, the end. Just like that. Aw. Yeah, as I was saying, the story never lets you go, or there's never like a point where it's not interesting. The story is so good that I don't want to stop going. And that relates to what I was saying. The one thing I don't like about 10 is the level progression, which is sphere grid. Like, don't get me wrong, the sphere grid, how it works with like the AP gain and stuff, it's fully fine. It's super cool. I think it's amazing. It works super well. The switching with characters, amazing. The only thing that I don't feel like it works well in the game in general, like in the base game, how it works, is how the difficulty spikes. I mean the difficulty raise, and how I raise up as the level goes. Because at the point of me finding Una Fresca, I was able to beat her, as you could see on the stream. I beat her, but the fight itself took an hour because I had to play around stuff. Which, in a way, I think it was nice because in a way, oh, I had to tank to beat her, but in another way, it was also such a huge challenge. Like there's Seymour, the fight just before her, and the on Mount Gagaret. That's like you can really just one shot me, if I don't have a shield or something up, further one hit. And then there's a whole zombie status that was used like for 2 bosses in a row, which I think is just not fun. The Seymour boss fight, the third one was actually kinda neat with good mechanics. I just didn't do the mechanics because I had a lot of, because the game by exploring actually I got a lot of items that make so that I didn't have to do the mechanics. I just took the hits. It's also like the 2 last area of the game. I had the no encounter. I don't even know if there was enemies in there. Surely there's a lot of enemy in there, and they get pretty good per AP. Probably yes, because those last enemies, those fossil in the rock, dude, they gave like 36,000. That's like two sphere level, at least. And we get double AP. But yeah. Now for how I love Final Fantasy X, it's a weird thing. Like I think the game is amazing. I had the most of fun when exploring. Like the 2 last stream before today, I had fun just going around exploring. It was actually just really fun to explore and to discover stuff. You know. Obviously, I had a lot of guides and stuff to help me because I didn't know freaking anything. But other than that, it was great. If I load, I just load my save file before the boss, right? Yeah, this is just for the file of the boss. So yeah. That's the end of the game, really. I cannot believe that I'm still not done talking about the game and we're done with the credits. Oh, but yeah. Final Fantasy is a good game. If we're actually, I would not suggest Final Fantasy X as a first Final Fantasy. No, but like as a Final Fantasy game, I think the game's amazing, right? It's a good game. It's a really good game. But for example, I've played, for those who are not aware, I've played Final Fantasy 15, 14, the first game on NES on my own time, 7, 8, 9, and now 10. I found 10 to be the hardest Final Fantasy, but it has the most well-written character. Like I love the whole cast in here. The whole cast is great. I think they're great. Tyler's a bit annoying, but you know he grew up. He grew. Yuna was like a bit like too perfect, but in the end it's like, oh, she just cares too much about others at some point, and then she learned how to do like pay attention. Not pay attention. The word is like let other help her, and oh, when she shook her head at the end, oh, I cried. It was like no, like you know how Charlotte said no, don't go. Oh, it was so sad. I'm thinking about it. I'm crying. Oh, I have tears. Oh, after playing this game, I'm like, I want to buy the Yuna outfit for Final Fantasy 14 on Nog Station. It's like, sweet baby child! Ah! Yeah. It's like, I love Lulu because she's fighting with a plushie. I just think that's really cute. Yuna is adorable. Riku is really nice as a thief. I love stealing an item. Tyrus is useless. Oron is useless. Kimaru is just a blank plate. Waka is freaking a god. So, yeah. That's my list of characters. Tyrus is only useful because of Ace. That's it. He does no damage. But that's maybe also because I never level him up. But he has the ultimate weapon. He still sucks. I'm sorry, Tyrus. You suck. Anyway. But yeah, that's my whole only complaint of the game. Music is amazing. Characters are amazing. The fighting gameplay is amazing. The sphere grid, great thing. So it's great, but has some limits. And for a newcomer like me with no help whatsoever, it's pretty tough. It's pretty hard to optimize. In any way, it's really hard. Maybe I did a wrong thing with Kimari. Maybe I should have done what made go into medic casting. Maybe. I don't know. Like I said, if I sums up, my only complaint about the game is the story. Not by the good. I mean like the progression level of the story. Like I said, the story never stop. The story is still going, keep going and going and going. So it's like, I don't want to stop the story. You know, it's kind of like If I compare it to another game, Persona 4 and 5, which I've played, we all know the story of Persona. If you've played Persona 4 and 5, the story is amazing, and you want to keep going, right? You want to keep going the story, but the game make you stop at some point to do like side stuff for you to get like stronger, for you to get ready for the next story stuff, which might be hard or like harder, you know. So you do stuff, and the stuff makes you stronger. Final Fantasy X is the story just keep going and keep going over and over, and the game gives you a free flee button, which at some point I really want to press because there was a lot of random encounters, and they were draining like all my potion off of me and all my healing stuff, to a point like even if I reach the boss, I'll just die to him because I will be out of MP, I will be out of a healing item, and because the stuff killed me. Then you'll say, oh, because you're too low level, and I'll tell you, yeah, and that's it. I'm just too low level, and I have to grind to get some level. Like the end game of this game would have been to me an insane grind of trying to beat the boss if I didn't went for Holy and the celestial weapon for Yuna. I went for the God Hand and the one for Tyrus 2. They were literally useless because I don't use them. Like Tyrus I only use for Ace, and I only use the item with Riku, so it was kind of useless to actually go for those weapons. But Yuna's weapon was amazing. 1 MP cost, double AP. It was just a godsend. I wanted to go for the Lulu one, but I did not, because I discovered that Yuna does insane damage because she has a lot of magic damage. Lulu fail at some point to have no magic damage compared to other which is kind of sad. But yeah, my only issue, like I said, is like the phase grid, and that the game, like there's two ways to see it. Either it's like the game didn't tell you that you should go and explore, or you just don't think to explore and you just grind the zone. Obviously, exploring is more fun, but you only get the fun exploration when you get the airship, which is when you beat Una Fresca, and to beat Una Fresca, well, doing grinding or exploring before that, like I did, it's hard. It's super hard and it takes forever. Like I said, it took me 2 hours to beat the boss, but one fight will take an hour or an hour 30. It's disgusting how long it took to fight the killer. And I just won because I had a crap ton of Phoenix down. That's really it. And there was a bit of luck to luck based as in if she killed with a zombie fight and so then attack or healing, I forgot. Well, if all my character dies, it's over. But if one live, I can just use the Phoenix up and go into the fight. It's fine. And the counter auto attack was like, oh, I undo all your buffs. It's like then you can buff. It's useless to try and do stuff. Anyway, yeah. That's mostly all I had to say in general. If I had to put Final Fantasy in which favorite of my Final Fantasy game, it's hard. But like I said, I will not choose this game for a first comer. If we want your first Final Fantasy, people tell you Final Fantasy X. They're not wrong because the story is really good. The fight, everything is good about the game. Like I said, it's just the progression of the game. It's a bit steep at some point. It's a bit steep, you know. Like you might fall on your butt and be like, ouch, why? And yeah, because here's the thing: in no Final Fantasy game, ever I had to grind to beat the game, except there's 8, but I never beat 8. So yeah, you need to go to beat the game. Those are the keywords. To beat the game, you don't need to grind. I have never beaten 8 because I need to grind magic in there. So. And I didn't grind in Final Fantasy X. I just explored and I killed some on the way to get stronger so I could beat the game. But it's kind of grinding, but it's more I went out of my way to go and get more powerful stuff for myself because I had to go and look for them. I guess it's not technically that, but anyway. I will put Final Fantasy X as my second favorite Final Fantasy game. I think for me, personally, Final Fantasy IX is better. The cast is as good. You know, again, in my humble opinion, Final Fantasy IX has as great of a cast, as great of a music. The world and dungeon are just better because it's just not a freaking line. That's the one thing also in Final Fantasy X. It's so linear. It's kind of sad. I don't want to explore because it's a straight line. Where else am I going to explore? You know. When the complaint is oh, it's huge, vast realm. There's 2 places to go. Forward again, and to the right there's an arena. That's it. The game's not interesting enough to explore when you first started. As for me, before I'm oh, I have to go and try to find new stuff, and I found new stuff. But most of the new stuff, from the airship, and you go back to your linear stuff, where you find unique spots with this random search thing that doesn't make sense. You spam stuff. Anyway, I'm ranting. There's some neat detail. Again, I'm repeating myself, but the experience stuff and the exploration of the end is not the most fun thing. No, it's fun, but it's not intuitive into the game, I feel. I mean, it is because you have to go find stuff, but you know. I hope you understand what I mean with that. But anyway, yeah. If I have to put the game, Final Fantasy is my second favorite Final Fantasy. The whole game, really good, except one bit, which now that I know the game, if I replay the game, I'll know about it, and I'll be fine. Right? I'll be better at it. I'll do different stuff. I might do the 200 lightning straight off the bat. If I have an encounter sword or something. Because, no. Oh, the minigame are fun, it's great. So anyway, if we update the ranking of my favorite Final Fantasy game. Number 1. Final Fantasy 9. Number 2, Final Fantasy 10. Number 3, Final Fantasy 8. Fourth, Final Fantasy 7. No wait, I'm lying. Repeat or restart. If I go from worst to best, it will be Final Fantasy 15, 7, 8, 1, 10, and 9. So my top 3 Final Fantasy games are still, and then still, it's Final Fantasy 10. No, I'm getting mixed up. There's so many numbers. To me, my best Final Fantasy game is 9, then 10, and then the first game. On the NES, by the way. I don't know about the remake. The like the Steam versions. There's a pixel remaster. Cannot play that. Heck yeah. So yeah, 9, 10, 1, 8, 7, then 15. 15 just sucks. I'm sorry, 15 sucks. The overworld is amazing, that's it. It's a sick box. Sorry to tell you. 7 still sucks to me. I don't like Final Fantasy 7 at all. Sephiroth sucks as a character. Hate him. In the way that he's just not interesting at all. Cloud sucks. There's no good character in 7 except like Yuffie and Barret. 8 is just better in every way except the fighting is just weird. But it works. It was fun at some point. My brain feel like I'm doing maths. The first game is just classic. It's fun. 10. I will talk about 10. Then 9 just still my best. All good music. Progression is great. Exploration. Side content is great. The ultimate weapon are weirder to get. They're really just random. It's all about... The only issue with 9 is that a lot of the side content is locked behind the chocobo grind. And that's just a very boring, long grind. While 10 is more different minigame and stuff. It's more different. There's more variety to do. But the progression is just... But again, Final Fantasy 9, that's optional. The whole side content is fully optional. Final Fantasy 10, you have to explore. Or else you'll die. Or you'll have... It's like a send mount, DPS check. You'll die. Yeah, but anyway. That's pretty much the end of it. I'm done with the talking of 10. That's my thoughts of Final Fantasy 10. They're very in shamble, but I hope you understand what I mean. But yeah, this is the end of Final Fantasy 10. I don't know if next I want to play 10-2, if I want to focus more on 14. Because in 14, if you have not been watching my streams, I've been trying to go for Solo Past the Dead for 200 for the title of Necromancer. And I'm having a lot of fun trying. So I might focus more. But the next game that is like planned to be streamed, if I find it, should be here, right? Yeah, right here. Will be Near Replicant. There is on Twitch. If you watch it on Twitch, if you scroll down and you see, I think it's schedule. I have on schedule. Is that on schedule? Yeah, on schedule. I have like my stream roadmap kind of, where we'll finish Final Fantasy 10, and next will be Near Replicant. But I might play some 14 between here and there until. And yeah, tomorrow there will be no stream in the morning because I get my vaccine shot and stuff. So I can do anything in the morning, and at night there's static. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, that'll be the end of the stream. That 10, great experience. I still think that 10 was an amazing experience, and I'm glad I could play the game.